You are from India.
No surprise.
How did I know this? Sorry. Okay, are you from all parts of India or any particular part of India?
Different parts of India.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you all understand English, don't you?
Yes.
Because I tell you the truth, I don't speak very much Hindi myself. But I would like to start with Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to the Black Forest. My name is Jack. I'd like to tell you one or two things about clocks, and we'll start with a bit of history. And the history in this case begins in 1640, when the first clock was made in the Black Forest. Looked like this, very simple. Made entirely of wood. Stones for weights. You'd have to wind it up once every 12 hours. Get up in the middle of the night. Life was tough in 1640. And then you find it's only got one hand. Shows you the hour, but not the minutes. That was 1640. 1720, they started making these shield clocks, built to look like shields with painted faces. And then in 1760, a new character showed his face for the first time. The cuckoo. Did you catch the cuckoo?
Yeah.
See the cuckoo? You've got to be quick to catch the cuckoo sometimes. And you see the cuckoo first appeared on one of these shield clocks. It wasn't until about 1860 when the railway first came to Black Forest, they started making these station house clocks. Built to look like station houses of the day and found there. And by this time the cuckoo had really come into its own. Be careful, very dangerous. And the reason they chose the cuckoo, it was an easy sound to imitate. I'll come back to that in a minute. First of all, a very famous German clock. Here it is. It's called the Industrious Tailor, otherwise known as the mother-in-law clock. And there she is, gently encouraging him to get on with the work. Bring a bit more money into the house. Are there any mothers-in-law here today? Ladies, come and see me later. Maybe some of you gentlemen want to take something home for your mother-in-law. No, it's been used, as you can see, yes. You know, ladies and gentlemen, how do we put the clocks together? Well, you know, the kind of wood we use is called lime wood. Lime wood. Lindenholz in German, here it is very light. Hardly any grain. Ideal for carving. Soft. Ideal for carving. But a piece of wood like this, you know, you have to dry it for 4 years before you start using it. Very moist wood. Would otherwise split by carving. When it is ready to be used, they'll take a metal stud, see, and they put it against a piece of wood and spray paint it. So they're left with something like this. And then they put 5 or 6 of these boards on top of one another and cut them out on a scroll saw. And with that saw, they can cut out the outlines and the inner outlines as well. So they're left then with something like this. And that's the only part which is done by machine. The rest is all done by hand with tools like these. Sometimes they might also use tools like these. Inspiration. All the carving on the frame, very popular as a background. You will find oak leaves or vine leaves and typical Black Forest animals like the deer or the rabbit, squirrels, birds and so on. Of course, it wouldn't be any good if there was nothing inside, so they put a clock in there as well. And here you can see the different movements or mechanisms that we have. Cuckoo clocks, now these two here, they play music, whereas these two here just have a cuckoo cell. This one and this one are 1-day mechanisms, whereas this one and this one are 8-day mechanisms, which probably doesn't help you very much at all. So how do you tell them apart? Well, you have to look at the weights. You can tell a lot by looking at the weights. And if you see a clock with big weights like that, you know it's an 8-day mechanism. And this means you have to wind them up just once every week. Okay? If you see a clock with smaller weights like these, you know there is a 1-day mechanism, and that means you have to wind them up every day. And if you see a clock with really small weights like these, you have to wind these up once every 5 minutes. Okay, that was a joke. These are for battery operated clocks. You don't have to wind them up at all, but you can go fishing with them. Oh, ladies. The other thing, you know, that you can tell by looking at the weights, is that every real cuckoo clock is at least 2 weights. One is for the time, the mechanism, the clock itself. And one is for the cuckoo. But about half of our clocks, they'll have 3 weights. And that third weight, that tells you that the clock also plays music. Okay? 3 weights, music. Now then, I'm going to have to disappoint you. I'm going to have to disappoint you. It's not a real cuckoo. It's just a couple of bellows and whistles and they go. So please don't try to feed the cuckoo. You know, everything about our cuckoo clocks is made here in the Black Forest, apart from this. This is the music box, and it's made in Switzerland. And I'm going to show you a little trick now. I want you to listen very carefully. And tell me what you hear. When I play this in midair, you can hear a little tinkling little tune, right? But it's very quiet, isn't it? Okay, here's what's him. But you know what? Listen to the difference when I just put it against a piece of wood. You could hear it now, and the only difference is because it touches the wood vibrates, the sound resonates of the wood just like a musical instrument. And it just so happens all our cuckoo clocks, they're made of wood anyway, so it doesn't pose a problem. All that is apart from this one here. Because as soon as we heard you were coming today, we had this one made specially overnight. Now when I play it for you, you'll see first of all the bellows with the cuckoo on this side, the music box is on this side, the mechanism in the middle, and these figures rotating on the top. So we start with the cuckoo. The cuckoo always gets the start. Now the music box will start to play, and there you see these funny figures rotating on the top here. So now you know what it looks like inside a cuckoo clock. And you know these clocks, they have another very important feature, and that's this switch here on the left hand side. And this switch enables you and the cuckoo to go to sleep at night. Because if you lift that switch, the clock continues to run, but the cuckoo stops, the music stops, everything goes quiet. Okay? In the old days, they had to shoot the cuckoo. Now we have a switch instead. In the morning then, if you like, you put it on again, the cuckoo wakes up in good voice. You wake up refreshed after a good night's sleep. It's a very important switch. Please follow me over here. I'd like to show you one or two of the clocks that we have in the shop.